Part 107. I started my cultivation by picking up the immortal skills. Author, Banzuan Xianxia. Chapter 1061. Zuyun just thought about it for a moment and realized why there were so many rules in Behu City. Among them, one link is linked to the other. Pilgrimage is to trample on the dignity of human beings. The elixir given after the pilgrimage is the sweet date after the big stick. The rules in the city make the humans feel that White Tiger City is safe, and they can come for the elixir, without even taking risks. Strictly ordering the demon clan, and showing that their White Tiger City is fair. This series of interlocking events led to the monks who were unable to break through to come to White Tiger City one after another, which was equivalent to sending the blood of their nascent soul to White Tiger City in person. At the same time, the scarcity of human alchemists, who are unable to refine high-level elixirs, further exacerbates the situation. Vicious cycle. If you want to break the situation, you can only kill the Lord of White Tiger City. Zuyun had no expression on his face, glanced at Master Tianhu, and said, "You told me everything, aren't you afraid that I will kill you?" Master Tianhu was heartbroken, and then smiled bitterly and said, "Friend Chideo, if you want to kill, just kill him. Anyway, the chance of me surviving is not high." Zuyun was stunned. He had never wanted to kill Master Tianhu. These words were just words to vent his anger. But what did Master Tianhu mean when he said that he would not live long? "Friend Chideo, let's not talk about your chances of winning against the city lord. Even if you can kill the city lord, I will ruin my chance to go to the spirit world. If I can't go to the spirit world, my longevity will not last long." Already, Zuyun was surprised that the demon clan had never worried about longevity. They originally had long lifespans, and there were even some giant demons in the mortal world that could live for 10,000 years. "You have no life left? How long do you have left?" Zuyun couldn't help but ask. "Not much left, there are still more than 100 years. Master Tianhu smiled bitterly and said, "Otherwise, I would not be so happy because of this golden marrow pill and agree to your unreasonable request. It is precisely because of this golden marrow pill that I can get a chance to go to the spirit world channel opportunity." "I see." Zuyun understood in his heart, but he would not tell Master Tianhu directly that he could let him go to the spirit world as long as he solved the Lord of White Tiger City. On the contrary, people who knew that they would not live long were more likely to burst out with extremely powerful energy. Combat power, or help yourself unconditionally. Are all the passages to the spiritual world in the hands of the city lord? "Friend Chideo," Master Tianhu said strangely after hearing this, "don't you know that the entrance to the demon clan is in the palace of the city lord of White Tiger City?" Zuyun frowned and said, "Is there no passage to the true spirit realm?" Master Tianhu even asked, "Is there a passage to the true spiritual realm?" Logically speaking, every mortal world has one main, two auxiliary, and three passages. As long as they are living creatures, they can enter the main channel, and there are no realm requirements. Secondly, there will be a secondary channel belonging to the demon clan, and another demonic cultivation channel belonging to the practice of demonic skills. If there is no passage to the true spiritual realm, how can humans go to the spiritual realm? Zuyun frowned and asked again. "Humans can go, but that doesn't mean that we demons can go. The passage for our demons is in White Tiger City. Only demons who have made great contributions to White Tiger City can enter the passage." Master Tianhu sighed and said, "The reason why I don't live long is actually because I got an alchemy book in my early years. I was obsessed with it for many years before I entered the door of alchemy. But from that time on, the city lord talisman was built at the entrance of the passage, and the passage was completely in his hands. All demon kings who want to enter the passage will either make a great contribution to White Tiger City, or they can provide massive resources. Master, so I take this as a way to make money by refining elixirs and appraising treasures. All I need is to be able to enter the passage and go to the spiritual world, but if the city lord dies, no one knows how to enter the passage. That's why I said this. It is very likely that I will die soon. Zuyun understood immediately and asked, then do you know what method the city lord used to control the passage? I don't know about this, Master Tianhu said with a bitter look on his face. This is the biggest secret of White Tiger City. Otherwise, why would the entire White Tiger realm, including the realm of thousands of demon kings, be controlled by the city lord? There are so many ways to play with people's hearts, just like what a nightmare demon would do. Could it be that this White Tiger City Lord is really a nightmare? If it is a nightmare monster, in terms of combat power, he has full confidence in dealing with it. But the conspiracy. He may not be the opponent of the nightmare. In other words, the nightmare demon could face thousands of demon kings and even human nascent soul cultivators with just one sentence. I originally thought that with the aid of pills, I could attract countless monks to help me by raising my arms in White Tiger City, but I'm afraid it won't work. Since killing by force is not possible, then we can only do a sneak attack. But for a sneak attack, you must enter White Tiger City. Right now, we can only let Master Tianhu help. Zuyun pondered for a moment, then looked back at the Dozhuan scene shifting formation. The two personal guards were still inside. They must not be allowed to come out. Master Tianhu, take me to see the city lord and tell him that I have a rare treasure to offer. There is no way to catch the tiger's cubs, so Zuyun decided to give it a try. No. Master Tianhu's face changed drastically and he said, Friend Chideo, the city lord has amazing magical powers. If he wants to kill you, you have nowhere to go. He wants to kill me, and I want to kill him too. Do you think I can survive without killing him? These two people can be trapped for a while, but not for a lifetime. And once they are killed, the city lord will definitely know. They are coming. The people from the city lord who are looking for you will naturally find them here. It's not too late, we have to get there as soon as possible. After that, Zuyun took out a bottle of golden marrow pill and threw it to Master Tianhu. Exotic treasure, fellow Taoist, your elixir recipe is indeed an exotic treasure. I also made the elixir according to the recipe, but the quality of the elixir is far inferior. Master Tianhu subconsciously opened the cork and smelled the pure medicinal fragrance. They are all over 90% of the elixirs. Hearing this, Zuyun's heart moved, and he had a better countermeasure. If you take the initiative to see the city lord, I'm afraid the city lord will be wary. But if the city lord invites him, relatively speaking, I have a greater chance. Zuyun thought about it in his heart and said, in this way, Master Tianhu, you present all the elixirs and elixir prescriptions, and then you take out the elixirs you refined and tell the city lord that they are based on the elixirs Fang. You can't refine an elixir of this quality, but you can't do anything with me, so you want the city lord to pry my mouth open. By the way, do you have any magic weapon that can bind me? Master Tianhu thought for a moment and said, there is a magic weapon for binding people, but friend Chideo, you, who is at the peak of the late nascent soul, how could you be bound by an ordinary magic weapon? Ha ha ha, this is a small matter. Zuyun laughed loudly and said, just keep an eye on it. He stretched out his finger as a pen and formed a talisman in the void. Breath-holding talisman. In an instant, Zuyun's aura converged to the early stage of nascent soul. What a magical power this is! It seems like the drawing is a talisman, but why, not using paper? Master Tianhu is astonished. Dan, array, talisman. This equatorial friend has so many tricks up his sleeve. It's just a magic talisman. Zuyun waved his hand lightly and said, Master Tianhu, time is running out. You hurry up and do the work. If it takes too long and they suspect the whereabouts of the two guards, things may change. Master Tianhu immediately took out a rope spiritual weapon from his storage ring and said, Friend Edeo, tie it up yourself. I'll wait at the gate of the city lord's mansion. After sending Master Tianhu away, Zuyun returned to the star transformation formation. After thinking for a while, he took out a lot of spiritual stones to replenish the stars that were destroyed by the two demon kings. After feeling that everything was safe, he looked at Shen Nan, who was still practicing and healing. After careful observation, Zuyun was pleasantly surprised to find that not only was Shen Nan's demonic power completely eliminated, but his spiritual power was also flowing, and there were faint signs of a breakthrough. It's an unexpected surprise, Zuyun said secretly. I think this is because Shen Nan has rarely taken any pills, so these few pills of infant training can benefit him a lot. Human race, oh human race, the human race in the Western world is really miserable. Zuyun sighed and sat next to Shen Nan, helping him protect the law while thinking about any situations that might arise when meeting the Lord of White Tiger City. If you want to attack him unprepared, you must first use Chaos Fist to condense the last Lotus Heart. Secondly, use the Heavenly Talisman. I almost forgot. I don't have any spiritual weapons. I should ask Master Tianhu to get a few. At worst, I can refine a few more and give them to him when something happens. Zuyun sighed, and then quietly waited for Master Tianhu to bring back the news. Until the sky dimmed and the white fish belly appeared in the east, Master Tianhu returned to Tianhu Pavilion with several demon kings. I started my cultivation by picking up the immortal skills. Author, Banzuan Xianxia. Chapter 1062. A few moments later, I tied up that human race and locked him up in the inner courtyard. Master Tianhu left several of the city lord's personal guards who followed him outside. He was afraid that if these demon kings followed, they would find something strange happening in Tianhu Pavilion. After all, the wolf leader and the eagle guard were still locked up in Zuyun's formation. Hurry up, the city lord has a lot of things to do, and he has to go on a pilgrimage in an hour. If you delay things, even if you have the elixir, you won't be able to withstand the wrath of the city lord. A demon king said coldly that he did not want to enter Tianhu Pavilion. As for where the wolf leader and the eagle went, they were just guards who had just changed their shift and had no idea. Yes, yes, please forgive me. Master Tianhu breathed a long sigh of relief, without any trace of dissatisfaction on his face. After entering Tianhu Pavilion, he quickly walked towards the inner courtyard. It wasn't until he was outside the formation that he lowered his voice and said, Equatorians, Equatorians, it's time to go. Zuyun suddenly opened his eyes and said loudly, come right away. Looking back at Shen Nan, he was still in the original realm, but the spiritual power in his body was constantly entangled, and there was still the possibility of a breakthrough at any time. It's up to you to make your own fortune. Zuyun thought for a moment, then stretched out his fingers and used his spiritual power to carve a few words on the ground, telling Shen Nan that he had gone to the city lord's mansion. If there were any changes in the city, let him leave the city lord's mansion as soon as possible and return to the true spirit world. Never come back again. There's only so much he can help. At the same time, Zuyun took out several handwritten prescriptions for pills that he had already prepared. After placing them on the ground, he pressed a bottle of soul-shaping pills on them. When Shen Nan broke through to the peak of the late nascent soul, the effect of the soul-shaping pill on him became more obvious. As for the elixirs, Zuyun left behind several common elixirs above the elixir formation stage, which are more suitable for the current situation of the Western world. After doing all this, Zuyun focused his eyes and raised his head to look at the two demon kings who were still struggling to support themselves in the star-shifting formation. They are still attacking the stars inside. But it will take at least 3 days and 3 nights. After walking out of the formation, Zuyun was about to tie himself up in front of Master Tianhu, but he heard Master Tianhu say, Friend Chideo, there are still a few guards waiting outside. Let's go out quickly. If we are slow, we are afraid of them come in and find something strange here. Are there any more guards coming? Zuyun was stunned for a moment, and then a light flashed in his eyes. He also guessed that the wolf leader and the eagle guard were here. I'm afraid not many people knew about it, and they didn't notice it. This is a time gap and information gap, he needs to hurry up. Wait a moment. Zuyun's heart skipped a beat, and he quickly formed a formation in his hand. In an instant, the situation suddenly changes. Thousands of stars all gathered together at this moment, overwhelmingly smashing towards the two guards. In at most an hour, these two demon kings will be smashed to death in the formation. And an hour later, I believe he was already fighting with the Lord of White Tiger City. Who will notice this place then? At the same time, Shennan will be safe. Let's go. Zuyun smiled slightly, his soul moved slightly, and the rope spiritual weapon moved, tying Zuyun up. Friend Chideo, Tianhu will definitely be offended by his words next time. Don't be offended then. Tianhu was still a little nervous, so he told Zuyun in advance. It doesn't matter, Chideo is not a stingy person. The purpose of this trip is to kill the Lord of White Tiger City. The fierce light flashed away in Zuyun's eyes. If there is any delay, we will rush into Tianhu Pavilion. As soon as they left the Tianhu Pavilion, one of the bodyguards, the Demon King, showed his impatience. Master Tianhu was obedient and explained with the words he had already thought of, "Don't blame me, this human race has so many tricks." In Tianhu's case, Tianhu can still control him in the pavilion, but I'm afraid that if he leaves Tianhu Pavilion, he will cause some trouble. The last thing I fear is trouble. The Demon King stared at Zuyun coldly, as if he wanted to eat him. Zuyun quickly lowered his head, pretending to be scared and not daring to look directly at him. Oh! The Demon King laughed disdainfully and waved his hand, "Let's go." After a stick of incense, at the door of the city lord's mansion. It was grand and majestic, like a luxurious palace among mortals. Zuyun lowered his eyes, but was so surprised that he raised his head. Just because, under the sunlight, this palace exudes a holy aura, but there is a faint smell of blood that is not easy to detect. If it weren't for his powerful soul, there would be no way he could feel it. Walking along the avenue in the middle of the palace, you will reach the center of the city lord's palace. You stay outside, I will take Tianhu and this human race in. The leader of the Demon King said. Yes, Chief Xiao. It turned out to be a dragon demon. Zuyun didn't use his spiritual sense, but he didn't pay attention to the Demon King's true form. If I had known this, I would have taken out the dragon beating whip first, maybe it could still be used. However, this is also a leader, and I don't know what the relationship is with the wolf leader. Zuyun was not afraid of the relationship. He was only worried that before he attacked the White Tiger City Lord, the wolf leader died and someone discovered the clues. In this way, all the efforts will fall short. Fortunately, I can finally meet the Lord of White Tiger City. My subordinate Jiao has brought Tianhu and the human race, asking to see the city lord. The dragon leader knelt down on one knee and shouted at the main entrance of the central hall. Come in. Inside the door, a strange, male voice sounded. As soon as the voice fell, the door of the hall did not open, but a light gate suddenly appeared. There is a formation. Zuyun was shocked, this was something he had never expected. He had been to countless palaces and had seen countless formations in the palaces, but he did not expect that he would meet a Demon King City Lord in a formation. Miscalculated, why didn't Tianhu mention it? Zuyun cursed inwardly, he had been careful enough, but still did not think of this level. After all, it was still carelessness. But fortunately, he realized the principle of simplicity of the Great Way, plus his understanding of the formation, perhaps no one in this mortal world can match it. As long as the divine eye technique is used to see through the formation pattern of this formation, perhaps it can be broken in an instant. Zuyun took a deep breath, and was sucked into it together with Master Tianhu. A light flashed in front of his eyes, and he was already in a hall. Tianhu, you dare to lie to me. Zuyun was still using his soul to carefully sense the surrounding situation, but he heard a loud shout from the head of the palace, followed by a huge pressure, suppressing Tianhu. Tianhu didn't have time to make a sound, and fell to his knees with a plop. He couldn't speak, and couldn't move, and had no chance to struggle. Another change occurred, and Zuyun was dumbfounded. Should he take action? But taking action at this time would not have the effect of a sneak attack. But the problem is that this breath of pressure made him feel very familiar. It seemed to be the power of chaos, but it was mixed with an evil nature. But in a breath, Tianhu was subdued, and at the same time, the Jiao Wei beside him also took out the demon weapon, the dead sword on his waist, and placed it on Tianhu's neck. Human race, raise your head. At this time, the weird voice came into Zuyun's ears. Zuyun was alert in his heart, and his attention was raised to the extreme, so he slowly raised his head and looked. Only then did I see a heavily made-up woman sitting at the head of the palace. No, that's not right. It's a man. It's a man dressed as a woman. Because he has a prominent Adam's apple. No, that's still not right. If he were a human, why would he call me a human? This is the name the demons use to refer to strangers. Humans, you are so bold. This woman, who is neither a man nor a woman, neither a human nor a demon, pointed at Zuyun with a smile and a cry, and said, "You are at the peak of the late nascent soul stage, and you dare to disguise yourself as an early nascent soul stage to sneak into the city lord's mansion. Tell me your purpose, and I'll let you choose a way to die. How about it?" Zuyun was surprised that he could see that I was pretending. Although, he guessed the wrong realm. But in the mortal world, I am indeed at the peak of the late nascent soul stage. But since he was seen through, there was really no need to pretend. Zuyun thought about it, took off the rope that bound him and held it in his hand, then said lightly, "The city lord is so capable, my method has never been broken by anyone." He. The city lord covered his mouth and laughed unpleasantly, and then said, "This city lord's breaking void spirit eye technique can break all illusions. With your little tricks, you dare to show off your skills here? Tell me, who sent you here, and what are you doing here? This city lord keeps his word and gives you a decent death." Zuyun answered the question irrelevantly, frowned and said in a low voice, "Are you a member of the Lin family?" Who knew that the city lord's face changed, and a pressure came straight towards Zuyun. "You actually know the Lin family. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I started my cultivation by picking up the immortal skills. Author, Banzuan Xianxia. Chapter 1063. The art of breaking the void spirit eyes is the secret method of the Lin family. If you are not from the Lin family, how can you learn it? Zuyun put his right hand behind his back, ready to gather strength. Judging from the reaction of the city lord, he is obviously not from the Lin family. Then, the art of breaking the void spirit eyes must have been obtained after killing the Lin family. Even because of this, the cultivators in the true spirit realm cannot pass through the passage alone, so they need to make a pilgrimage to the White Tiger City to receive a so-called divine pupil pill. Hearing Zuyun's question, the city lord suddenly looked ferocious, stretched out his hand and punched Zuyun through the air. "Boy, you know too much." This punch came suddenly, at a very fast speed, and with extremely huge power. This power not only has spiritual power, but also demonic power, which is very consistent with the characteristics of the nightmare monster. Fist. I can do it too. Zuyun stretched out his hand and punched. Chaos Fist, the 13th way. He has figured out the rules of the Chaos Fist. Each of the 4 extra punches comes from 6 of them. White Tiger Fist, it is the 13th to 18th root. Boom. When the two fists collided, the array pattern in the formation shook, flickering, showing how strong Zuyun is, and how strong the City Lord is. The spiritual power and demon power were intertwined and surging, mixed with the smell of blood. Zuyun didn't think much and blasted out the 14th root. This fist is actually the power of chaos. Zuyun's first punch surprised the City Lord, but before he could recover from the surprise, Zuyun's second punch arrived. Boy, I didn't expect you to get the heavenly book and learn the skills in it. The City Lord's eyes condensed. This time he didn't stand still and punch, but turned his body. His enchanting and strange posture suddenly danced. Under his bright red clothes, a thin needle flew out. The tip of the needle glowed with a bloody red light, and it broke through the air towards Zuyun's fist. What a horrible bloody aura! Zuyun was shocked, and his chaos fist opened and closed, and one punch would blast out the chaos force in the entire lotus heart. At this time, he had just punched, but it was not so easy to withdraw. And this fine needle pierced the chaos force he blasted out directly, without any delay at all. Divine Eye Technique. At the critical moment, Zuyun used the Divine Eye Technique without hesitation. Through the words of the City Lord, he was extremely sure of the other party's identity. This must be a nightmare monster. Being able to recognize the chaos force and talk about the name of the heavenly book, there is no doubt that this is also a nightmare monster that has learned the 5 elements Chaos Sutra. And the blood on the tip of the needle, I think he has also made improvements to his own practice. Master Tianhu mentioned the blood of 10,000 infants. Otherwise, if there is no blood, how can this blood be so heavy? In the lower abdomen, all the chaotic power in a lotus heart was purified to the extreme and acted on the pupils. In an instant, Zuyun's eyes were filled with golden light, and then he saw clearly where the needle pointed. What a vicious heart! Zuyun snorted coldly. The needle seemed to be flying towards his fist, but under the effect of the Divine Eye Technique, he saw dense blood light all around. These blood lights were ready to go, and they were going to completely entangle him. Chaos Fist. Seeing the direction of the needle, Zuyun slipped and avoided the blood light of the needle, and then punched again. 3 punches have been thrown, and there are still 3 punches to go. The wind is rising, humming. The chaos power of the 13th to 18th punches is like wind spirit power. Although the power is not strong, it is fast and fierce. And the first 3 punches are even more hot and wild. Swish. The needle was immediately hit on the side by Zuyun and shot towards the general. Boy, you can actually hit the side of my blood needle. The City Lord was shocked, and a look of surprise appeared on his delicate face, but then he waved his fingers, and another needle flew out of his sleeve. Blood needle, this City Lord has more than one. This needle was pointed directly at Zuyun's side, and the City Lord did not camouflage it like the first needle. Zuyun saw the weakness of the first needle, and he knew that these were all useless. Swish. In the strong wind, the red light came. Zuyun did not look away, and used the Divine Eye Technique again. The chaos power of another lotus heart was consumed. Get out of my way! Zuyun roared and punched out in the same way. Needle. Seeing that the second needle still did not work, and the air was full of chaos power, the City Lord did not dare to neglect it. He stopped talking nonsense. He practiced the 5 elements Chaos Sutra and knew the power of chaos. And Zuyun exerted a strength beyond his imagination. He flicked his sleeves, and one red needle after another shot out, like a rainstorm of pear blossoms. Under this situation, Zuyun could not continue to blast out the Chaos Fist, so he had to condense the Chaos Force under his feet and took the Changshengju footwork. But after taking 2 steps, he saw the City Lord showing a strange smile. What if the footwork is mysterious? You are in my formation. The 10,000 blood formation. The City Lord did not continue to control the blood needles, but pinched a formation formula in his hand. Countless formation patterns rose from under his feet and came towards Zuyun. Not good. The needle stopped, but the formation started. And this formation under his feet made it impossible for him to dodge. Wherever the formation pattern went, red light was everywhere, and blood was everywhere. Zuyun watched with his own eyes as countless red lights emanated in front of him, engulfing him in it. Ha ha ha, I didn't expect that the city lord's bloodlight needle did not trap you, but instead let the 10,000 blood formation trap you. After entering the city lord's mansion, Zuyun was wary, but he never expected that this turned out to be a trap. The key is that he hasn't seen the formation yet. It's not that easy to trap me. When the bloodlight was about to engulf him, Zuyun suddenly stretched out his right hand, and his fingers danced, and 5 colors of spiritual power appeared. Gold, wood, water, fire, earth, self-destruction formation. 5 rays of spiritual power suddenly landed at the city lord's feet, forming a 5-color halo. Zuyun does not need to balance these 5 spiritual powers, but instead allows these spiritual powers to intertwine and restrain each other. Boom! The spiritual power surged with such intensity that the city lord had a look of extreme horror on his face. He has practiced the 5 elements of Chaos Sutra and naturally knows how powerful the 5 spiritual powers will be if they are not balanced. Boy, you are seeking death. The city lord roared angrily, but he couldn't help but laugh. He quickly used his spiritual power to control the 5 spiritual powers used by Zuyun, trying to separate them forcefully. But what part of Zuyun's control could he easily break through? Under this, Zuyun was trapped in the bloody light, but again, these 5 spiritual powers completely restrained the city lord. No one took advantage. The 10,000 blood formation was filled with endless power, but it was extremely difficult for him to forcefully break through it. As for his self-destruction formation, the 5 spiritual powers are not completely intertwined and will not dissipate. The city lord can only try hard to prevent them from intertwining, which makes it even more difficult to deal with it. Because of this, the city lord's palace fell into a strange state of anxiety. The only one who can move is the dragon leader. Jiawei, come and help me. The city lord panted and shouted, but he didn't look away. Being surrounded by 5 spiritual powers, he didn't dare to be distracted at all. City lord, how can you help me? The leader of the dragons had long been frightened. Zuyun could fight equally with the city lord. How could he dare to get involved in a battle of this level? If you are not careful, you will be wiped out. He has lived for thousands of years, always imagining that he can achieve the body of a dragon, and he is worried that he will die. Hearing these submissive words, the city lord shouted angrily, just come here and draw away a ray of spiritual power. If you save my life, I will give you a great blessing. In his anxiety, the city lord did not hide his fierce look. The leader is not stupid. The city lord at this time looked completely different from what he had seen before, and he was surrounded by murderous people. He is afraid of death. City lord, my subordinates are cultivating demonic power, not spiritual power. Hearing this obvious rejection, the city lord couldn't help being furious, but he had no energy left to deal with the dragon leader at this time. Then just wait by the side, don't wander around and accidentally touch this formation. Even though his heart was filled with injustice, he was afraid that if he went too far, Jiawei would be forced to jump over the wall. Jiawei is not stupid, and he is even less stupid. Yes, city lord, my subordinates must not move. Leader Jiao lowered his head, but looked towards Zuyun from the corner of his eye. I saw that the blood light formed an oval-shaped blood ball, completely trapping Zuyun in it. The blood cells were squirming, indicating that Zuyun was still struggling inside. He had a hunch that maybe the city lord will die here. I started my cultivation by picking up the immortal skills. Author, Banzuan Xianxia. Chapter 1064. Tianhu Pavilion. Shen Nan woke up leisurely and saw the words Zuyun left on the ground. There are more than 1,000 of them. He glanced at it and his breathing began to quicken. He completely lost the joy of just breaking through to the peak of the late nascent soul. Originally, when he came to Tianhu city, he wanted to ask for a so-called enlightenment pill, which would allow him to break through to the last realm in the mortal world, and finally consider going to the spiritual world. But by some mistake, he did not go on pilgrimage, but got a whole bottle of elixir. The medicinal power was pure, and after he swallowed a few pills, he was already at the state he wanted. This allows people to speak in the real spiritual world. But on the ground, there are still a few pieces of white paper with dry ink marks, which are the prescriptions left by Zuyun. This is friend Equator, the immortal sent by God to save our human race. With trembling hands, he picked up these prescriptions. Because it was handwritten by Zuyun, the elixir recipe not only contains the method of refining the elixir, but also details the efficacy of the elixir and its effects when taking it. And he also knew that the pill he swallowed was called the infant training pill, and its function was to cultivate the nascent soul in the body, thereby becoming stronger. So naturally, the breakthrough in realm will come naturally. Next to the elixir, there is also a bottle of soul-shaping elixir. Since forming the elixir, monks can practice soul techniques to strengthen their souls. The power of the soul can make the casting of spells faster, and at the same time, practicing will be more effective with half the effort. This elixir. As if Shen Nan had found a treasure, there was no corresponding joy, but more gratitude. He raised his head and looked in the direction of the city lord's mansion. Friend Chi Dao and Master Tianhu went to the city lord's mansion. Logically speaking, I should go too, but if I go, my death will be a blow to friend Chi Dao's good intentions. He asked me to take these things to the human race, and wait. I'll deliver it and come back. Shen Nan's eyes flashed, he put away the prescriptions and elixirs, and then erased the words on the ground. After looking at the two exhausted demon kings who were trapped in the formation, he opened the gate of the formation and left the Duzwangxingxing formation. After leaving Tianhu Pavilion, he headed straight out of the city. The city gates are unguarded. Because the fierce fight between Zuyun and the city lord has attracted everyone's attention. Whether they were demon cultivators or human cultivators, they were filled with indignation and surrounded the city lord's mansion. For demon cultivators, the city lord is their belief. But for the human race, this is their hope to continue practicing. Whenever the time of pilgrimage comes, the city lord will come to the square in person and lead them to kneel to heaven. After worshipping, the city lord ordered someone to deliver the elixir. Now that the city lord's palace is in turmoil, they didn't get the elixir, so naturally they don't want anything to happen to the city lord. In the bloody mass, Zuyun found himself in a pool of blood. The blood boiled, and he was soaked in it. There were wailing sounds all around, and human figures would emerge from the surface of the blood pool from time to time, and they would catch Zuyun. These should be the nascent soul stage who died in vain. They were unwilling to die, so they left behind regrets. Feeling that the bloodlight was just trapping him, Zuyun had the intention to observe the situation of the blood array. At the same time, I also remembered the words blood of 10,000 babies. There is no doubt that this is the Nightmare Demon King, but he has practiced the 5 elements of Chaos Sutra. Why does he need to collect the blood of 10,000 infants? From his previous bloodlight needle, you can see the blood. Could it be that he is also practicing it? Some kind of evil technique. How could such an evil method be spread in the mortal world? Zuyun murmured in his heart, but after thinking about it, if he wanted to know the cause and effect, he could only learn it from the mouth of the Nightmare Demon Emperor. What do I want to do with so many evil skills? I don't know how to practice them. Zuyun looked at those bloody figures, shook his head, and said to himself, right now, let's break the formation first. It's just a pity that I haven't learned it. White Tiger Fist. The chaos power in the corresponding lotus hearts of the 4 punches previously bombarded has been exhausted. If he wants to use them again, Zuyun can only let the chaos power in those lotus hearts continue to be full. The efficiency of practicing in the mortal world was vastly different from that in the immortal mansion, which made Zuyun feel distressed. Shen-I technique. He sighed, then cheered up, shouted in his heart, and a golden glow instantly erupted in his pupils. Wherever the golden light came, he saw thousands of constantly changing formation patterns hidden in the blood light. But in one breath, Zuyun had memorized most of it. He is also a formation master, and he knows that the source of his health trapped at this time is a large formation that includes the entire city lord's palace. With such a scale, the strength of the formation is certainly not small. It is impossible to break the formation by force, and the only way out is to find a way out. But these 10,000 formation patterns, the changes and combinations are extremely complicated. How easy is it? The magic eyes dispersed, and Zuyun meditated secretly for a long time. But just as he was unraveling more than 100 formation patterns, an idea suddenly flashed in his mind. Why am I so stupid? The great universe artifact Immortals, thousands of immortal formations have taught me the truth about how to set up formations. Why am I still using this stupid method? Great road leads to simplicity, different paths lead to the same destination. These 8 words quickly appeared in Zuyun's mind. This blood pool traps me in the form of a trapping formation. Then I don't need to look for other changes. As long as I find the similarities between the trapped people, I can naturally untie the formation and find a way out. Zuyun thought to himself, a look of joy appeared on his face, and then he immersed himself in solving the previously solved formation pattern again. As expected, the formation patterns changed in various ways, but they could not escape the attribute of being trapped. Zuyun quickly found the similarities and wrote them down one by one. However, this blood pool originated from the 10,000 blood formation, which has many changes. It will take a lot of time to break it all. The most important thing is that Zuyun needs to use the divine eye technique from time to time to remember more array patterns to break. Next time, don't let people get trapped in this kind of formation. It's too difficult for me. Zuyun smiled bitterly, and then cheered up again. Wherever the mind goes, time flies. The true spirit realm has set off earth-shaking changes. All major sects, or family forces, and even some gathering places for scattered cultivators, all have mysterious scenes. Several handwritten pill recipes, with unheard of pills written on them. There are pills in the Jindan stage and Yuanying stage. In addition to the refining method, there is also a detailed introduction to the pills. This is naturally done by Shen Nan. Shen Nan has reached the peak of the late Yuanying stage. Although he has just broken through, he can't kill people or fight. Naturally, he comes and goes without a trace. Therefore, no one knew who did it, and then they focused their attention on another piece of paper besides the pill formula. At the request of Deist Akagya, I present the pill formula for the Jindan stage and Yuanying stage to all the human beings in the true spirit realm. When you see the pill formula, Deist Akagya may have died in Behu City, or Deist Akagya may have killed the Lord of Behu City. After I finish my work, no matter what Deist Akagya does, I will be added to Behu City again. If he lives, I live, and if he dies, I die. In just a few words, Zuyun's pseudonym was mentioned several times. For a time, the word Akagya was mentioned by people in the entire true spirit realm. Ordinary cultivators all sneered. Because their cultivation was low, even if they had the pill formula, they could not refine the pill. But in contrast, those Yuanying cultivators all gathered together. Everyone, I think the most popular name recently is a name that you have never heard of, Akagya. An old monk who is highly respected but has one foot in the coffin, revealed a gleam of brilliance in his fading and turbid eyes. He looked at the nascent soul cultivators in the whole hall and said, All the nascent soul cultivators in the entire true spirit realm are here. Brother Qin, we have tried the elixir, it is real. We have already refined the nurturing infant pill and the shaping soul pill, but because the best spiritual medicines have all been taken to White Tiger City, the refined ones are only 20% of the quality. A black-faced monk with a fireworks aura took out 2 porcelain bottles from his arms. One bottle is the shaping soul pill, and the other bottle is the nurturing infant pill. Master Shu, how effective is this pill? There is no evidence, but seeing that someone really took the pill recipe to refine it, everyone was excited. Although it's only 20%, all the alchemists in my Tiandan pavilion who are in the early stage of the nascent soul have broken through to the middle stage of the nascent soul. When these words came out, the whole audience fell silent. Tiandan pavilion is the only sect in the true spirit realm that focuses on alchemy. But because of the lack of resources and the fact that the recipes are only for the stage below the Jindan stage, it is extremely difficult to practice. But because they are the only ones who can refine relatively good pills, they live a good life. Almost all the cultivators present have eaten the pills refined by Tiandan Pavilion. Of course, this is before the Jindan stage. After the Jindan stage, they will not have any contact with Tiandan Pavilion. Unless they are purchasing pills for the younger generation. There are many low-level cultivators, and although the pills they need are inferior, they win in quantity. Therefore, the cultivators of Tiandan Pavilion, relying on the large quantity, have several cultivators with good talents who have successfully formed the nascent soul. But in the entire Tiandan Pavilion, there is only one cultivator in the late stage of the nascent soul, and that is Pavilion Master Shu, who is standing at this time. As soon as he finished speaking, several alchemists behind him stood up and released all their auras. Middle stage of nascent soul. I started my cultivation by picking up the immortal skills. Author, Banzuan Xianxia. Chapter 1065. Everyone's breathing stopped. It's not that these Yuanying stages can improve the overall strength of Tiandan Pavilion, but that this proves the effect of paying pill. This is only 20% of the quality. Master Shu, how much is this paying pill? I want it all. A Yuanying stage suddenly ran over and threw a storage bag in front of Master Shu. Inside, 30,000 spirit stones are all our Xiantian sect's belongings. The Xiantian sect does not practice magic, but physical skills. All fight with others in close combat. Their strength is all reflected in their realm. Master Zhan, Master Shu smiled faintly, this pill is not worth so many spirit stones. Xianxiao's eyes widened, and he said, Master Shu, what nonsense are you talking about? I gave you all the spirit stones, and you think it's too much. If you don't want to sell it, you don't want to sell it. You can find a suitable reason, okay. A burst of laughter suddenly sounded on the side. Xianxia looked back, but saw all the nascent souls with contempt on their faces. He immediately became confused. Could it be that it was really not worth 30,000 spirit stones? Otherwise, why didn't they come up to rob it? Pavilion Master Shu smiled without saying anything, shook his head, and looked at the old man. Elder Qin, you should tell me. Xianxia dared to be angry with Pavilion Master Shu, but he didn't dare to be angry with Elder Qin. Although the true spirit realm was not very united, they, the nascent souls, could see the situation clearly. The ultimate goal of the demon race was nothing more than to suppress their human race. And this time was an opportunity. They needed to truly unite. Elder Qin was the one who issued the order among these cultivators. The pill formula has been circulated in the true spirit realm, and the pill formula is detailed enough. Therefore, within a certain period of time, the value of spirit stones will fall rapidly, and the only valuable ones are the spirit medicines that can be used to refine this kind of pill. Elder Qin said it in one word. Whether it is the soul-shaping pill or the infant cultivating pill, there is actually no clear spirit medicine used to refine it. As long as the spiritual medicine has the corresponding properties, it can be used as the main medicine. This is mentioned repeatedly in the pill formula. In other words, even the lowest level essence grass can be refined into a baby cultivating pill due to its own properties. Of course, this kind of baby cultivating pill may not even have 1/10,000th of its quality. The true spirit realm does not lack spiritual medicines, but pills. They also do not lack alchemists, but pill formulas. There are actually quite a lot of cultivators who have learned the method of alchemy in Tiandan Pavilion. Because of the resources, only alchemists with excellent alchemy talents can eventually stay in Tiandan Pavilion. Therefore, the pills of Tiandan Pavilion are the most popular. And the ordinary alchemists eliminated by Tiandan Pavilion will be picked up by other sects, or become a casual alchemist. Therefore, among almost all the sects and forces in the true spirit realm present, only Tiandan Pavilion has refined the pill. No matter how stupid Xianxia was, he understood what Elder Qin said, and his old face suddenly blushed and he returned to his original position. Elder Qin continued, Master Shu led the way and opened up new hope for our true spirit realm alchemy. Qin would like to thank you in advance. The nurturing pill represents that their human race can have more and stronger nascent soul cultivators. For a long time, the nascent soul stage of the human race has been maintained at around 100 people. But the demon race has at least 1,000 demon kings. The gap of 10 to 1, even if they understand that Behu City suppresses their human race through exploitation, they are powerless. And some nascent soul cultivators can't stand this endless immortal path, so they choose to surrender, put down their dignity, and go to Behu City for pilgrimage. But more people go and fewer return. It has long been rumored that Behu City will kill the human Yuanying. But those who go there always have a fluke mentality. The result is imaginable. How can the human race grow stronger if it has always maintained more than 100 Yuanying? These Yuanying cultivators who can stay here safely and gather together naturally have a very good vision and will not go to Behu City to die. Even a reckless person like Xianxia could feel that it was not so easy to go to Behu City. In response to Elder Qin's thanks, Pavilion Master Shu quickly clasped his fists in return, and then said loudly, Elder Qin, I am unworthy of this. All this should be thanked to that deist fellow Shiwo. He took out a white paper, held the top of the paper with his right hand, and tapped the two words Chimu with his left hand. Everyone agreed. Our human race lacks the recipe for pills above the Jindan stage. Deist fellow Chimu is not just helping us in times of trouble, but saving us from the dire straits. That's right, the human race is the spirit of all things, why should we be restricted by the monsters in Behu City? That's right, deist fellow Chimu is the benefactor of our human race. The paper says that he fought to the death with the Lord of Behu City in Behu City. We are grateful to him and cannot sit idly by. Zhu's thinking is relatively simple. A middle-aged Yuanying with a big belly stood up. Every time he said a word, he would shake a piece of fat on his belly, but no one dared to look down upon him. They all closed their mouths and looked at him. In the past, Zhu made an oath in his early years that even if he died after breaking into the spiritual world passage, he would not go to White Tiger City. But friend Chideo sent such a precious elixir to us humans, but we didn't know what he looked like. What, if Zhu dies, he can't rest in peace. So Zhu plans to go to Behu City to see the face of fellow Taoist Qi, so that he can remember it in his heart. If he is alive, Zhu will fight to the death to protect him. No, Zhu dares to go with him. For such an outstanding person to be able to walk together on the road to the underworld, his 2,000 years of cultivation will not be in vain. An ordinary nascent soul only has a lifespan of more than 1,000 years. But Yuanying with the surname Zhu has been practicing for 2,000 years and is one of the capable people in the true spiritual realm. What fellow deist Zhu said is absolutely true. Elder Qin couldn't help but nodded and said, Qin doesn't have the guts to go to the spiritual world channel anyway, so why not make some contribution to our human race when he is dying? Elder Qin looks forward to death, so of course the monks in my Tiandan pavilion cannot lag behind others. I have earned a lot of spiritual stones from you and received a lot of benefits over the years, so naturally I have to take the lead. When are we going to set off, my Tiandan pavilion? The pavilion will take out all the elixirs. Master Shu Pavilion, another Yuanying monk stood up and said, only you can refine the elixir recipe given by equatorial friends. In other words, Tiandan Pavilion will be the hope for the revival of our human race in the future. I'm waiting for you therefore, all the monks of Tiandan Pavilion should stay in the true spirit realm. Even if we all die, Tiandan Pavilion will have to hide in the wilderness realm to prevent the White Tiger City from retaliating. Wild City's spiritual power is exhausted, and its demonic power is completely gone. Humans rarely go there, and it is a forbidden area for demons. This is why the demon clan has never launched a major war and launched a full-scale attack to kill all the humans. Because once a conflict breaks out and the human race all retreats to the wilderness, the biggest impact will only be on the monster race. The Nightmare Demon Emperor knew this very well, so he did not push the human race to a dead end. This pilgrimage is also a way to buffer conflicts, and it can also slowly crush the dignity of the human race. Yes, Tiandan Pavilion is our only hope, we can't go there hastily. Practice for thousands of years, use it for a moment. The road to immortality is long, but we must first destroy the mountain of White Tiger City. Exactly, if all the nascent souls of our Wei Ling sect are killed in battle, I hope Tiandan Pavilion will take care of them. The same goes for Qingtian sect. The same goes for Heiran sect. The same goes for Fenglai sect. Almost all the sect forces stood up to express their stance. Ha ha ha, Pavilion Master Shu laughed, bowed to all directions, then wiped the corners of his eyes and said loudly, Shu will definitely live up to your expectations. If he does not, Tiandan Pavilion will be tortured by thousands of thunders and will never turn over. The sound echoed in the hall and dissipated after a long time. Tiandan Pavilion, all alchemists obey orders. My subordinate is here. Behind Pavilion Master Shu, several nascent soul stagers stood solemnly and spoke in unison. Get all the elixirs from the sect. Give them to all the fellow Taoists present. Secondly, you will go all out to refine the infant building pill and the soul shaping pill. The sect's ancestral treasury is fully opened. Anyone who can refine these two pills can directly take them for refinement without notification. Once again, notify all alchemists in the alchemy stage to use all their strength to refine elixirs that restore spiritual power, qi, blood, and soul power. After 3 consecutive orders, several Yuanying alchemists quickly retreated. Shuji is righteous. The other nascent souls also faced each other with fists in their hands. You guys take your lives, Shu just takes some pills, it's nothing. 5 days later. All the nascent souls in the true spirit realm, with the exception of Tiandan Pavilion, took almost all their wealth and hurried towards White Tiger City. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I started my cultivation by picking up the immortal skills. Author, Banzuan Xianxia. Chapter 1066. White Tiger City, Panic. Almost all the cultivators, whether human or demon, surrounded the city lord's mansion. After several days, there was no news from the city lord, and naturally, no one distributed elixirs in the pilgrimage square. The human cultivators came here for elixirs. They finally put down their dignity and let the demons trample on them, but they found that they came for nothing. How could they be willing? With courage in numbers, the human cultivators naturally surrounded the city lord's mansion. However, they were afraid of the rules in the city, so no one made a noise. But the problem was that there were too many human cultivators. In a few days, there were still human cultivators coming from the true spirit realm to ask for medicine. Those who came in front had not dispersed, and those who came behind were asking for news here. As a result, the human race completely suppressed the demon cultivators in White Tiger City in terms of numbers. The atmosphere was tense and heated. Although all the human cultivators did not move, all the demon cultivators could feel that this was the calm before the storm. Why does Behu City go on pilgrimage 4 times a day? In fact, it is also to evacuate the human race and prevent them from gathering. After restricting the human race for many years, they are very familiar with a characteristic that the human race is born with. Gathering is one. Another is that when everyone has the same goal, they will be extremely united. All the demon guards who stayed in the city lord's mansion are clear. Now, their only hope is that the city lord can come out of the city lord's hall and solve this problem. As long as everyone can get the elixir, the crowd will naturally disperse. But the demon guards don't know. The city lord is exhausted at this time, and the 5 spiritual powers can't be dispersed at all. With the degree of his practice of the 5 elements Chaos Sutra, it is extremely difficult to maintain balance. But Zuyun is constantly consuming the power of the 10,000 blood formation. This is not rising, and Zuyun is sure to win. This is what the city lord, the nightmare demon king, does not want to see. Damn human race, where on earth did this come from? The city lord gnashed his teeth. He could personally feel the dissipation of the array power. Although the speed was very slow, he was powerless to deal with it and could only watch. If Jiao Wei could help him, he could resolve the crisis at this time, but no matter how he threatened or lured, Jiao Wei was unmoved. This was something he had never expected. Looking from the corner of his eye, Jiao Wei was sitting cross-legged at this time, staring straight at the blood ball. In the blood ball was Zuyun. Even Jiao Wei himself didn't know why he disobeyed the city lord's intention. It was because Zuyun had the residual breath of a real dragon on him. In the blood ball. It's on the right track, but it's a pity that the consumption of chaos power is still too great. I don't know when I can break all the array patterns. Zuyun can break the array. The Great Way is simple, and different paths lead to the same destination. However, the thousands of array patterns still need to be broken one by one. His understanding of the array can only allow him to see through the array patterns faster, rather than directly breaking the array. The biggest problem he encountered now was the lack of chaos power. It was also because he had 27 lotus hearts in his body, which was equivalent to the spiritual power reserves of 27 cultivators in the God transformation stage, that he was able to hold on for so long. At this time, he was already completely mastered, but his speed had also reached the limit. Zuyun was happy in the midst of suffering, just treat it as training proficiency. I don't know how the Nightmare Demon King is doing. He had no time to care, but the blood ball that trapped him did not change at all. He could naturally guess that his self-destruct array also trapped the Nightmare Demon tightly. Although his realm cultivation was suppressed by the heavenly Dao, his control over spiritual power was definitely not comparable to that of the Demon King in the lower world. Time flew. Another few days passed. White Tiger City was already full of human cultivators. The situation seemed to have changed. All the demons did not dare to provoke the human race anymore. Even if there were not more than 1,000 demon kings gathered in White Tiger City, at least half of the demon kings did not dare to take action. The strangest thing was that the White Tiger City was so quiet that it was a little scary. No one dared to speak. Until Shen Nan returned. This is. Outside the White Tiger City, Shen Nan saw a dense crowd. People were crowded and shoulder to shoulder. He had reached the peak of the late nascent soul stage, and his confidence had already swelled. Seeing so many human races here, the other demon cultivators did not dare to move. In their hearts, they wanted to find Zuyun, so they didn't care about anything else and poured their spiritual consciousness into the White Tiger City. Boom! In an instant, the spiritual consciousness covered the entire White Tiger City, and all the cultivators exclaimed, like thunder, and the White Tiger City was also shaken. Who dared to use spiritual consciousness in the White Tiger City? Is this looking for death? Can't find it? Shen Nan didn't care about what others thought, but he didn't find Zhu Yun, which made him a little impatient. The demon kings, especially some demon guards belonging to the city lord's mansion, felt that something was wrong at this time. After communicating secretly, several demon kings used magic and turned into their original bodies to rush out of the city. Who dares to break the rules of my White Tiger City? Seeing Shen Nan outside the city, a demon cultivator who turned into a colorful tiger glared at Shen Nan. Shen Nan instinctively wanted to give in, but suddenly found something wrong. His soul could feel that it seemed that all the human race was paying attention to this side at the moment. He felt that it was difficult for him to compete with the White Tiger City with his own strength. But if he provoked the thousands of cultivators in the city, he might be able to rescue the Chideo friend. It stands to reason that with the tyranny of the demon clan, all the demon cultivators would probably come out if I violated the rules like this, but right now there are only a few demon kings, which shows. It's okay, fellow Equatorians. It seems that he and the Lord of White Tiger City are locked in a certain forbidden formation. As a casual cultivator, Shen Nan has cultivated to the nascent soul stage, which shows that he has extraordinary intelligence. After careful consideration, he has figured out the key. Thinking of Zhu Yun's previous plan, his heart moved. Faced with the tiger guard's question, he laughed, raised his arms and shouted. I thought that only the state officials were allowed to set fires and the people were not allowed to light lamps. This would only happen in the human world. I didn't expect that Behu City would also have such broken rules. Human, what do you mean? The tiger guard did not dare to take action rashly. Of course, he did not expect Shen Nan to be so courageous. Facing them, several demon kings did not even show a trace of fear. It's not interesting, Shen Nan smiled slightly and said, if you don't use your demon sense, how would you find out that I use my spiritual sense? Tiger Demon King, are you also breaking the rules of White Tiger City? The Tiger Demon King's expression changed, and he shouted in a deep voice, are you trying to provoke a conflict between the human race and the demon race? White Tiger City has stood in the mortal world for thousands of years. Not only has it not enmity with your human race, but there are countless people there every day. Send out the elixirs to help you human monks continue to practice. You should be punished for your behavior. As soon as he finished speaking, the tiger guard suddenly opened his bloody mouth and bit into Shen Nan from the air. He was thoughtful and had already heard something from Shen Nan's words, and Shen Nan's words had already resonated with many monks in the city. Especially those who came here for the second time, some nascent soul casual cultivators. They have no sect and no section after cultivating to this level, their natural state of mind and strength are extraordinary. I even saw with my own eyes that many of my own clan were bound and killed by various demon cultivators in White Tiger City for unnecessary crimes, and died tragically in White Tiger City. Back then, my cousin accidentally bumped into a demon cultivator and was beaten to death in the street. My Taoist companion blinked his eyes, and then a demon king thought he was flirting with him and had evil intentions. He was also captured and finally hung on the city wall. My master, please bring me, who is still in the pill-forming stage, to see White Tiger City, but who would have thought that just by touching the bricks on the city wall, I would be beaten to a bloody pulp by several city guards. Shen Nan's words will not arouse the hatred of these people, but they will make them have memories. But what really made these people share the same hatred was the fact that the tiger guard killed people in public without any reason. Originally, when the demon cultivator took action, not many people could see it. But at this time, countless monks saw with their own eyes such unreasonable arrogance, which made them feel something. It is true that Shen Nan used spiritual consciousness and indeed broke the unwritten rules of White Tiger City. But no matter where it is, this cannot be a capital crime. but the Tiger Guard couldn't help but take action directly. They all thought that they came to White Tiger City and lived with their tail between their legs for a pill. Frustrated. But at this time, they still dare not take action. But Shen Nan already knew that the heat was almost over. He slapped it with one palm, condensing huge spiritual power in his palm. Boom! After Shen Nan flew backwards more than 10 feet out of thin air, he shouted loudly. In the true spirit realm, we already have the elixirs needed for the Dan formation stage and nascent soul stage. Humans and I no longer need to be exploited by the demon clan. As the words fell, countless pill prescriptions flew down from the sky. This is exactly the same as the elixir note that Shen Nan left at the door of the major forces in the true spirit realm. He was afraid that it would not be enough, so he prepared a lot, but he didn't expect that the rest would come in handy at this time. There are monks constantly picking up these elixirs. Or it could be the soul-shaping pill, or the infant nurturing pill. I started my cultivation by picking up the immortal skills. Author, Banzuan Xianxia. Chapter 1067. As entrusted by fellow Taoist Chimu, I am offering the elixir recipe for the Danji and nascent soul stages to all the people in the true spirit realm. When you see the elixir recipe, perhaps fellow Taoist Chimu has already died in White Tiger City, or maybe fellow Taoist Chimu has already died in White Tiger City. Kill the Lord of White Tiger City. No matter what happens to fellow Taoist Akage, he will be added to White Tiger City again. If he lives, I will live, if he dies, I will die. Every monk who obtained the elixir prescription saw the message below the elixir prescription. The word Akage is deeply imprinted in the hearts of these people. But soon, they discovered the most real thing. Why, the Lord of White Tiger City has not come out for a long time. Why, I went on pilgrimage several times a day but didn't see the city lord. It's fellow Taoist Chimu, fighting fiercely with the city lord. And that person dispersed the elixir in the true spirit realm, and then came to die again. For a time, almost everyone was infected by Shen Nan, and a nameless blood flowed through their 9 veins. The human race has been multiplying for countless years and has been suppressed by the demon race. It is meaningless to continue cultivating this immortal. Suddenly, a nascent soul casual cultivator shouted loudly, teleported over, flew forward, and punched the side of the Tiger Guard. The Tiger Guard was shocked and quickly ducked out of the way. Unexpectedly, another nascent soul stage appeared on the other side. Court death. Tiger Guard was shocked and angry, he already had an ominous premonition. As the city lord's personal guard, how could he not know that many of the city lord's methods were to appease the human race, just because he was afraid that these human races would unite? And the human race has a herd mentality. Once someone starts, then. Sure enough. In the midst of Tiger Guard's worry, a sword light suddenly arrived, pointing directly between his eyes and between his eyebrows. The elixir formation period. Dare you take action against me in the Demon King realm even in the Dan formation stage? Hu Wei's face was ashen. He could easily slap this pill-forming monk to death, but he didn't dare. Because, he saw more colorful spiritual lights, all coming towards him. Run, run. How dare the Tiger Guards stay here, let alone call for help from their companions behind them. Going forward one after another, even if he can kill these pill-forming stages, what can he do if they are in the nascent soul stage? There are still people who come after you. If you don't run, it will be too late. In an instant, these demon kings fled in all directions. However, these humans' eyes were red, and they quickly turned around and looked at the demon cultivators outside the city lord's mansion. Whether it is the demon king realm or a demon cultivator from other realms. At this moment, all the frustration in my heart was vented. Everyone, kill. Rescue fellow Taoist Akage. Capture the Lord of White Tiger City alive. Revenge the dead martyrs. Kill the demon clan, and the mortal world will eventually become our human race's mortal world. there was no need for Shen Nan to continue taking action. All the monks in the entire White Tiger City were moved. These, at least at the elixir formation stage and above, attacked together, and the city lord's mansion was immediately shaken. Boom! 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 The sky was full of light, colorful, and various spiritual powers were flowing and intertwined, blasting towards the city lord's palace and all the demon cultivators present. They also want to show respect like the Tiger Guard by leaving first. Unfortunately, it's already too late. They can't run away, they can only fight hard. Boom! The sky flickers in and out, the ground shakes, and the rocks sway. It stands to reason that if these demon clans forcefully attack, with their hundreds of demon kings, they can completely kill these human clans here. But at this time, they were conflicted and did not dare to fight back. In addition to the rules set by the city lord, the previous escape of the Tiger Guard and the Demon King had a profound impact on them. Hold it, hold it! A Demon Guard leader shouted angrily. He is one of the more sober Demon Kings. Although the life and death of the city lord is unknown now, the 10,000 blood formation has not been destroyed, which means that the city lord is still alive and well. However, the strength of the human race that infiltrated is amazing. Even if the city lord cannot escape temporarily, he will come out sooner or later. And with hundreds of them demon kings joining forces to fight against each other, at least they won't die. Of course, the main reason is that they can't escape. If the city lord comes out and they kill all the humans here, then if the city lord blames them, they may be the ones who die. No one wants to die. The demon cultivators, who were originally scattered, quickly began to work together to stop these people's attack after someone took the lead. The demonic shield was raised, and Beihu City fell into a state of anxiety. Shen Nan did his duty and became the leader of everyone. Countless monks followed him as the leader. Needless to say, those in the alchemy stage. When the nascent soul monks were doing their best, they also followed Shen Nan to inquire about the situation of fellow Taoist Chimu. After learning that fellow Taoist Chimu had entered the city to fight the White Tiger City Lord for a life or death showdown, all the monks spared no effort. I wish I could see people in life and see corpses in death. This situation lasted for several days. Until, those 100 or so nascent soul stage arrived belatedly. What happened? Elder Qin's cloudy eyes suddenly shot out. Dozens of miles away, they could feel the surge of spiritual power here, with clear distinctions between strong and weak. When will the monks in the Danji stage and the nascent soul stage start fighting together? Even though the human race is being bullied by the monster race, within the human race, there are still situations where the strong ignore the weak. I don't know, I'd better go over there quickly and take a look. I don't know what happened to fellow Taoist Chimu. The chubby Yuanying named Zhu looked worried. Yes, seeing is believing, go and have a look before we talk. A group of Yuanying agreed. They saw more clearly. The more chaotic the White Tiger City was, the more it showed that fellow Daoist Akage was still alive. At the same time, it also showed that they had a greater chance of winning. Compared with the human cultivators in the White Tiger City, they were calmer. There were about 1,000 demon kings in the White Tiger City. If they attacked by force, they would just die. But this trip was to help Zhu Yun, otherwise they would not have come rashly to die. And what they felt at this time made them feel that they had a lot more chances of winning. A moment later, they saw a scene that made their blood boil. Countless human cultivators actually suppressed hundreds of demon kings. Looking at those demon kings who were unwilling to resist and many demon cultivators, Elder Qin shouted in a low voice, "Good opportunity, don't hold back, maybe you can take the opportunity to kill all the demon kings." They suddenly appeared above the city lord's mansion. Go! Someone gave the order, so they naturally acted in unison. Under the leadership of Elder Qin, all the nascent souls used their own magical powers. On the way here, they took a lot of pills provided by Tiandan Pavilion. Even if their strength did not improve steadily, they were somewhat improved under the effect of the pills. Even if it was temporary. Kill. 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 Led by Elder Qin, all the nascent souls used their magical powers at a very close distance. The power of destroying the world fell on the demon power shield. Boom. The shield shattered with a loud bang. Countless demon kings were used to the attack intensity of the cultivators in the city, but they were caught off guard by this sudden increase in the strong attack. No, run. The spiritual power surged and not only destroyed the demon power shield, but also dispersed the original attacks of those human cultivators. Although this caused serious injuries to the demon kings, it also gave them a chance to breathe. The demon leader made a quick decision: it is better to die later than to die first. If he ran away now, he might still be alive. As long as the Green Mountains are there, there is no fear of running out of firewood. It is better to run first. Suddenly, those demon kings were blown away, and the demon cultivators with weaker realms who did not have time to escape were all turned into bloody pieces under the second attack of the Yuanying stage. Don't chase the desperate enemy. Elder Qin concentrated his spiritual power and ordered all the Yuanying. He said in a deep voice, "Capture the king first. Our purpose here is to find the Red Friend and kill the Lord of White Tiger City. Those demon kings are not a concern." Elder Qin was determined and immediately let the bloodshot eyes of these Yuanying return to consciousness, and their eyes gathered on the city lord's mansion. And among them, except for the faint smell of blood, there was no movement. The demon cultivators who could come out were all blocked outside the city lord's mansion. Among them, there was no one except Master Tianhu. Master Tianhu did not enter the city lord's hall. Because of Zhu Yun, he stayed outside the hall. He knew there was any movement outside. But he was worried about Zhu Yun and did not go out. At this time, the demon power shield was damaged, and the formation protecting the palace was also destroyed. He found that there were countless spiritual power breaths outside, but he could not feel a trace of demon power. His eyes narrowed, he glanced at the city lord's hall, then looked outside, gritted his teeth, and walked outside. The changes in Beihu City, maybe. It was brought by Shen Nan. I started my cultivation by picking up the immortal skills. Author, Banzuan Xianxia. Chapter 1068. Another demon king has come out. The slit-like eyes of Yuanying surnamed Zhu suddenly opened wide, and he fell straight from the air. That's right, it was a fall. I saw that he was exuding an earthy yellow light, like a flying mountain slamming into the city lord's palace. Bang! Without the palace protecting formation, the city lord's mansion is just some bricks and stones. How can it be worth the nascent soul's natal magical power? Boom! 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 The courtyard wall of the city lord's palace collapsed, and dust and smoke were everywhere. Yuanying, surnamed Zhu, jumped up from the ground and looked at a figure in the dust and smoke. Fellow Daoist Zhu has improved in strength again. No, he took a lot of infant training pills and soul-shaping pills along the way. I was afraid that he would explode if he took too much medicine. I finally understand why fellow Daoist Zhu is so fat. It's because he took too many medicines. The momentum was overwhelming, and the human race was filled with an atmosphere of joy. This was the first time in thousands of years that they had defeated the demon race and fled. Of course, the battle with the demon clan was only once in thousands of years. However, it was enough for them to feel proud. In the entire White Tiger City, as far as the eye can see, there are no demons anymore. Except for the evil spirit coming from the dust and smoke. Kneel down. Yuanying surnamed Zhu stretched out his fist and struck at Master Tianhu's knees. But Master Tianhu is not an easy person, and after taking a golden marrow pill given by Zhu Yun, his strength far exceeds the peak of the ordinary demon king in the later stage. Facing the punch of Yuanying surnamed Zhu, he can only move a step. Paddle and dodge easily. Huh. With a slight cry, Yuanying surnamed Zhu squinted his eyes again, as if he could see through the dust and smoke, and punched again. Human race, don't bully others too much. Master Tianhu was furious. If he hadn't sensed Shen Nan's aura outside, he would have punched this nascent soul with his first punch. Let you see how strong my body is after taking the golden marrow pill. Ha ha ha, so what if I bully you? Yuanying surnamed Zhu laughed wildly, and suddenly yellow light bloomed all over his body, like a mountain that had been standing here for many years, no one could shake it. And this punch, with all his spiritual power, struck out with a bang. Fellow Taoist, please show mercy. At this time, an urgent voice sounded from behind the crowd, and then, a figure suddenly appeared between Yuanying Zhu and Master Tianhu. Boom! It was Shen Nan. Those who are not of my race must have different minds. Fellow Taoist, have you been kneeling for a long time and can't stand straight? The infant training pill and soul shaping pill that Shen Nan took were the best pills refined by Zhu Yun himself. They were 90% perfect. How could they be compared to the 20% to 30% of those taken during the nascent soul stage? Although he has recently reached the peak of the late nascent soul stage, his strength is not weaker than that of the fat man named Zhu. Faced with this sarcasm, Shen Nan said proudly, "Fellow Daoist Zhu, this demon cultivator is Master Tianhu and is the helper of fellow Daoist Qi." After the words fell, Shen Nan waved his hand and the smoke dispersed. Master Tianhu's appearance attracted the attention of countless people. It's really Master Tianhu. I once asked him to appraise the treasures. At that time, I felt that he was different from other demon cultivators. Master Tianhu is still an alchemist. Could it be that this alchemy recipe came from his hands? It's possible. Didn't that nascent soul say that Master Tianhu is the helper of fellow Taoist Chimu? Yes, otherwise so many demon kings ran away and he was the only one who came out. Listening to everyone's comments, Master Tianhu looked worried. He cupped his fists at Shen Nan and said, "Fellow Daoist Shen, you have broken through the peak of the late nascent soul. Congratulations." Shen Nan glanced at the nascent souls behind him and then said, "Master Tianhu, how is friend Equator doing now?" Master Tianhu's eyes flickered and hesitantly said, "I don't know, ever since friend Chi Dao entered the city lord's hall, there has been no sound. If the city lord and the dragon guard hadn't come out, I might have thought friend Chi Dao was dead inside." "The city lord's palace? Can't you enter?" Shen Nan acted as if there was no one around. Even if he knew about the subsequent nascent soul stage, it was all because of his own message. But he had no interest in getting involved with these people. Right now, nothing is more important than Zhu Yun's safety. "You can't get in. There is a door in the city lord's palace, but you don't enter through the door. Instead, there is a formation. That formation of bloody light is overwhelming. Although Tianhu understands the formation a little bit, his attainment is shallow and he can't see a single formation. Formation pattern." There was no more fighting in White Tiger City. Everyone pricked up their ears. They all became solemn and excited when they heard about fellow Taoist Chimu. No one pursued Master Tianhu's identity as a demon cultivator anymore. "Even if it is a formation, it can be broken," Shen Nan said with a flash of light in his eyes. "If you don't understand the formation, you can still break it by force. Now in White Tiger City, we are the only human monks like me. As long as we break the formation, let's work together to kill the Lord of White Tiger City. Friends from Chi Dao are boundless, and nothing will happen if we think about it, but we're afraid something will happen if it's too late." Master Tianhu immediately said. Tianhu was also afraid that something like this would happen, so he came to see the situation after noticing something strange outside. Unexpectedly, he met Daoist fellow Shen. "Ha ha ha, there is no unstoppable road, so please ask Master Tianhu to lead the way." "Good." Master Tianhu responded immediately, then turned around and walked inside. Shen Nan followed and soon disappeared from everyone's eyes. Elder Qin, this Yuan Ying, surnamed Zhu, flew to the old man's side. He couldn't decide whether it was a conspiracy or something else. But it was clear to onlookers that Elder Qin showed his wisdom. That fellow Taoist, I think he is the fellow Taoist who sent the pill formula to us, otherwise, he would not help Tianhu and tell the story of fellow Taoist Akage fighting with the city lord. He hadn't said anything else. They were almost the only ones in the entire true spirit realm who got the pill formula, and the unusual movement in Beihu City was obviously caused by him. Naturally, Shen Nan's identity did not need any scrutiny. Let's follow him, maybe we need help to break the formation. There is strength in numbers, and they broke the formation by force. At the command of Elder Qin, all the Yuanying entered in a line. Not long after, only a few Jindan stage were left outside the city lord's mansion. But all the demon kings fled or died, and they didn't dare to come back at all. So, they were also very safe. Some of them who had bad intentions had their eyes on some shops in Beihu City, so they walked out of the crowd and headed towards their goals. Not long after, many people discovered the situation, and a moment later, Beihu City was completely in chaos. Inside the city lord's mansion, outside the main hall, the bloody smell was so strong that the Yuanyings could not help but frown. Fellow Daoist Zheng, come and take a look. Just before Shen Nan took action, Elder Qin and others arrived to stop them. A middle-aged Yuanying came forward, stroking his beard. He was the only array master among the people present. Elder Qin said to Shen Nan, fellow Daoist, breaking the array by force will always consume spiritual power. If the city lord is powerful, we will still need spiritual power to deal with it. Shen Nan naturally understood this truth. They didn't know what was going on in the main hall. If they still needed to fight, they would be the ones who would die if they lack spiritual power. Then I'll trouble you, fellow Daoist Zheng. Shen Nan stepped aside and motioned the Yuanying array master to come forward. This array has thousands of changes. I'm afraid it will take a lot of time to break it. The array master's words were shocking, and everyone frowned. At this time, Master Tianhu stood up and said loudly, this formation is called the 10,000 blood formation. Its mystery lies in the numerous formation patterns. But in fact, this formation is just a trapping formation, but the power to control the formation is neither demon nor spirit. I think you can smell the blood, right? Everyone looked at Master Tianhu. Master Tianhu continued, I wonder if you have heard of the blood of 10,000 infants. These 10,000 infants refer to the infants of the nascent soul. Elder Qin is knowledgeable and vaguely guessed what Master Tianhu meant. Yes, the power of this formation combines the three powers of spirit, demon, and blood, plus thousands of formation patterns. It is not that easy. In my opinion, this fellow Taoist should find the weak points of the formation pattern, and then we will work together to attack it. This is the fastest and safest way. Master Tianhu's words made the formation master nod frequently. From these words, he also heard that Master Tianhu is indeed a person who understands formations. What the Heavenly Tiger Demon King said is absolutely right. After the formation master clasped his fists, he focused on the 10,000 blood formation. The blood shadows on the formation were flowing, and the waves were shimmering, weird and bloody. But the formation master's attainments were not shallow, and with the hint of Master Tianhu, it didn't take long for him to find the weak point of the formation. It's here, we can listen to the orders of Elder Qin and attack at the same time. If we are lucky, we can break through it in a few breaths. That's great. Everyone was extremely excited, rubbing their hands, just waiting for Elder Qin's order, and they would attack together. After half an incense stick. Do it. Everyone used 50% of their spiritual power to bombard the weak point of the 10,000 blood formation. Boom. The city lord's mansion exploded, and all the bricks, stones, and tiles turned into dust and razed to the ground. and the blood splashed, and a big hole was blown out of the 10,000 blood formation. An even bloodier smell rushed out of the formation. But no one could laugh. Because there was an even more arrogant laugh. The laugh was neither male nor female, neither human nor demon. He, the 10,000 blood formation was broken? That must be God's help. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I started my cultivation by picking up the immortal skills. Author, Banzuan Xianxia. Chapter 1069. The Nightmare Demon King was just short of a trace of external force to break the 5 balanced spiritual powers that trapped him. The 10,000 blood formation was at his disposal, but he was exhausted mentally and physically from being entangled in it, so he was unable to borrow it at all. The 5 spiritual powers are so aggressive that whenever he has a slight separation in his mind, they will immediately merge with each other and explode, crushing him to pieces. At this time, the 10,000 blood formation was broken, and in the city lord's hall, the bloody power in the formation was mixed with demon power and spiritual power, all of which could be used by him. Even before he moved, some power had already eroded into these 5 spiritual powers. Get out of my way! The Nightmare Demon King shouted, quickly attracted the spirit, and rushed into the 5 spiritual powers. In an instant, the delicate balance of the 5 spiritual powers was broken, and the separation collapsed. The Nightmare Demon King laughed wildly, quickly got away, and then looked outside the hall. It is true that after the 10,000 blood formation is broken, the main hall appears, and those who want to enter the hall can just push the door open. But in comparison, the greatest joy is that he can escape and ascend to heaven. Human race. Seeing hundreds of nascent souls outside, a contemptuous smile appeared on the corner of the Nightmare Demon King's lips, and he blasted them away with the palm of his hand. Bang! Yuan Ying, surnamed Zhu, was the first to bear the brunt and was hit from the front. He immediately flew backwards covered in blood. Lord of White Tiger City. Elder Qin exclaimed and said loudly, "Do it." After the words fell, these Yuanying monks used their own magical powers at the same time, vowing to kill them here. But the Nightmare Demon Emperor has been the city lord for so many years. Not only is his mind extraordinary, but his strength is also extremely powerful. Otherwise, when faced with so many Yuanyings, he would not take action directly. Human ants. Do you know why the flowers are so red? He smiled frivolously, his blood-red coat made a hunting sound, and dozens of bloody needles flew out instantly, attacking everyone. No, get back. These nascent souls had never seen such a method before, but Master Tianhu understood it and quickly reminded him in shock. But the bloodlight needle was so fast that their reaction was already too late. Moment. More than 10 nascent souls beside Elder Qin were immediately hit by bloodlight needles, and their ends were transparent. The bloodlight needle is thin, and the needle hole it pokes is also small, but the needle hole is like a powerful fountain, spurting blood like a pillar. Before the monks who had dodged to react could react, the faces of the nascent souls that had been hit were already pale and they had lost too much blood. What's even more weird is that they can't move and can't cast healing spells to calm their wounds. Tianhu, this city lord treats you well, but you actually take advantage of me? I had no time to do anything to you before, but I didn't expect that you would recruit humans to come and kill me. After saying that, the city lord flicked his backhand, and another subtle bloodlight shot through the air. If you practice evil skills, not only will the human race gain access to it and kill you, but thousands of living beings will kill you. Master Tianhu opened his mouth and roared, his voice resounding throughout the sky. Almost at the same time, he transformed into his true form. The big and beautiful tiger has not the word on its forehead, but the word roar. The tiger's claws glowed with golden light, as if radiating from his bone marrow, and with a sudden palm, he slapped the bloody light. Chiang! There was a crisp sound, and the bloody needle was slapped away by the tiger's claws. When the Lord of Nightmare City saw this, his beautiful eyebrows tightened, and his beautiful face was even more disgusting when highlighted by the Adam's apple on his neck. Tianhu, this body of yours, is the golden marrow pill you mentioned earlier. He studied the 5 elements of Chaos Sutra, and although his level was not high, he could see the golden spiritual power in the golden light. Yes, we demon clan are all being used by you, but we can't get any benefits. It's better to make friends with that equatorial friend. He can hand over the elixir recipe to the human race for free, and he is also willing to hand over the elixir recipe of the golden marrow pill to the demon clan. City Lord, let's make a decision, you'd better kill me. Tianhu speaks out what others say and never gets angry. When he decided to side with Zuyun, he had already counted countless evil deeds of the city lord in his heart. Ha ha ha. The sharp laughter was like a sharp knife piercing the eardrums of those present, and then his expression suddenly turned ferocious. Tianhu, as a demon clan, you fight for the human clan, you deserve to die. His hands danced instantly, so fast that the red clothes turned into a ball of blood mist. Do you know what else I practiced before the blood of 10,000 infants? It's the blood of 10,000 demons. It just so happens that the demonic power has faded a little after a long time, so I will operate on you today. Boom! Thousands of feet of blood light turned out to be transformed by the red clothes of the city lord, and it surged towards Tianhu. Tianhu was shocked. This protective clothing of yours is actually made of demon blood. He had been in White Tiger City for a long time and had heard that some demon kings had disappeared. Now that I think about it, it makes sense in my heart. The Lord of White Tiger City has such a vicious mind, and this evil skill is extremely evil. Master Tianhu, retreat quickly. At this time, a stream of light came and it was Shen Nan. As a casual cultivator, he naturally has a life-saving trump card. That's what happened to Shen Nan. He saw Master Tianhu rescuing him with his own eyes, otherwise he would not have had the chance to break through to the peak of the late nascent soul. If Zuyun is his biggest benefactor, then the second one is naturally the demon king Tianhu. I, Shen Nan, must repay my kindness. If I want to die, I will die first. There was determination in Shen Nan's eyes, regardless of life or death. Spiritual power surged between his two palms, and his soul was stretched to the extreme. Monster, get out of my way. Shen Nan burned his essence and blood. The power of nascent soul essence and blood is extremely huge. He took a lot of Pei Ying Dan, and the power of his essence and blood was extremely terrifying. If he didn't use it, it would be impossible to save Tianhu with his current strength alone. Boom! The stream of light collided with the red light and quickly intertwined. Shen Nan felt the extremely huge and mixed evil power, and roared angrily, burning the essence and blood again. The essence and blood quickly bottomed out, and his face turned pale, like a corpse in water. Nascent soul, burn it. The nascent soul can escape from the body because the nascent soul has begun to take shape and naturally has a certain amount of power. And this power is very pure and has never been contaminated in any way. In this way, it will be even more terrifying when it burns. Wu! Shen Nan turned into fire and was completely connected with Hong Yi. Friend Deist Shen. Master Tianhu's eyes were about to burst, and he opened his mouth to roar, revealing his fangs. With a look of grief and anger, he stretched out his tiger claws and slapped the word between his eyebrows. Chi! The sky cracked open, and a golden demon pill shot out, heading towards Shen Nan. This scene took only a few breaths, and the lightning and flint stunned all the human nascent souls. Treat death as home and die generously. I remember. At this time, Elder Qin suddenly spoke. When we came, it seemed that we had also explained the funeral arrangements. right? Such a rhetorical question made all nascent souls suddenly come back to their senses. Yes, they have explained it. However, the original purpose was to find the benefactor of the mortal world, fellow Taoist Chimu. But who would have thought that he would actually face the Lord of White Tiger City? If we kill him, even if fellow Taoist Chimu dies, the mortal world will be at peace. The master of Nasha Pavilion, that Daydan Pavilion. Naturally, this mortal world will be arranged perfectly. The eyes of the nascent soul monks were burning with blazing fire. The Lord of White Tiger City revealed that he had refined thousands of demons into the protective clothing. What else is there about the blood of 10,000 babies? This Lord of White Tiger City is the source of all evil. Kill him. Elder Chin roared in a low voice, his voice kept trembling, and his withered hands burst out with fierce vitality. Boom! He was the first to rush forward, turning all his spiritual energy into golden light and pointing it directly at the forehead of the Nightmare Demon King. Ha ha ha, I think in the long history of this mortal world, I will definitely have the name of Xianxia. Xianxia laughed wildly, and the protective clothing on his upper body collapsed. His strong body, undulating muscles, and clear lines, he blasted past with an indomitable fist. 7 killing fists, kill people, kill yourself first. Bang! It hit him with one punch, but Xianxia spat out a mouthful of blood first. Come again. Another punch, another mouthful of blood. Xianxia, your fight is too ugly. Look at my Heiran sex, Heiran's righteousness. Making the heaven and earth move, a dense purple energy came from the east and gradually enveloped everyone. Look at the forbidden techniques of my Fenglai sect. The leader of Fenglai sect roared and began to recite a spell. Wind and thunder, the sky collapsed and the earth collapsed. The speed of his speech is getting faster and faster, no one can hear what he is saying, but in the sky, clouds gather, and it seems that the sky is about to collapse. All the nascent souls used their remaining 50% of their spiritual power to try to combine their strength with one move to smash the nightmare demon into pieces. Even Jiao Wei, who had been standing by the side, was filled with anger. He glanced at Tianhu, who was trapped in blood clothes and could die at any time. He bit the tip of his tongue and mixed it with the impure ambergris saliva. You, the Tianhu, dare to do it, so why don't I, the golden dragon, dare to do it? Hoang! Jiao Wei rushed into the bloody light and joined forces with Tianhu. Ha ha ha, just you? Just you? Seeing being besieged by everyone, the Lord of Nightmare City laughed angrily, extremely crazy. The trivial tricks will be dust before the 8,000 years of my journey. The majestic Nightmare Demon King claimed to have changed. The demonic light was flowing, the grey air was fluttering, and in the blink of an eye, he had transformed into his own body. The nightmare monster is burdened with 7 sins and has been cultivated to the extreme. It is a kind of monster with 7 different characteristics. A giant mouth like a glutton represents gluttony. The fox-like eyes represent lust. A mane like a lion represents arrogance. Green eyes like a green wolf represent greed. The demonic aura was overwhelming, and all his spiritual power immediately collapsed when he heard a soft roar. Also at this time, the oval ball of blood also exploded suddenly. A lazy voice sounded. 8,000 years of Taoism is no more than a living thing in the mortal world. I, Zuyun, come from the spiritual world. Suan Wu fist. The 10,000 blood formation was broken, and the formation patterns in the blood balls were also affected, allowing him to easily untie it. The low-pitched roar of a turtle seemed to come from the sky, resounding from the heart of the nightmare demon. Before he could recover from the surprise, he saw Zhu Yunru slamming the door with 2 ghosts, punching out 2 fists at the same time. Blue Dragon Fist. Suzaku Fist. I started my cultivation by picking up the immortal skills. Author, Banzuan Xianxia. Chapter 1070. Chaos Fist originally uses chaos power as its source of power. After Nightmare Demon practiced the 5 Elements Chaos Sutra, he naturally felt the extremely pure chaos power in it. This power of destroying the heaven and the earth immediately made his liver and gallbladder split and his whole body trembled. No, it's impossible. What kind of technique is this from the heavenly book? The Nightmare Demon roared unwillingly. The Azure Dragon Fist had forced him to have no way out, and the Azure Dragon Fist and Suzaku Fist forced him to fight head-on. I told you, I come from the spirit world, and my strength reaches the stage of divine transformation. Boom! The two fists met, and the sky was filled with wind and clouds. Only the ruins of the city lord's mansion were left, and the ground cracked again. No, no. The blood of 10,000 babies, the blood of 10,000 monsters, the blood of 10,000 demons. Between the lightning and flint, the figure of the Nightmare Demon was swaying in the boundless power of chaos, and he also made a final struggle. He even shouted out the unmentioned 4 words, blood of all demons. When the power of the fist was about to reach, the Nightmare Demon's body was shattered into pieces, and 3 kinds of brilliance, black, gray and white, surged over his body, intertwined and condensed into a ball. It doesn't matter if you come from the spirit world, even if I die, I will cut off your path to immortality. 1000 Blood Evil Formation. The Nightmare Demon exploded with a bang, and the 3 kinds of brilliance suddenly spread out again, weaving into a heavenly and earthly net, directly covering Zuyun. Then, Guanghua condensed again and bound Zuyun tightly. But the majestic chaos force rushed out of the grid, without hitting the Nightmare Demon head-on, and then dissipated in the world. But even if it hits, it won't help. Because the Nightmare Demon wants to kill Zuyun at the cost of death. But his vision is limited. This desperate struggle can only trap Zuyun, but cannot kill Zuyun. The 10,000 Bloods Evil Formation, 3 kinds of forces in the form of the 3 Talents Formation, tightly bound Zuyun, and it did have an effect. Zuyun found that he had lost his sense of the spiritual power in his body. If someone takes action against him at this time, I'm afraid. However, Zuyun's worries were unnecessary. The Nightmare Demon is dead, and apart from Master Tianhu and the Jiao Guard, there are no more demon clans in White Tiger City. All of them are humans. Whoops! When the dust settled, all the people suddenly knelt down and bowed down to Zuyun. Thank you, Senior. Thank you, Senior. Thank you, Senior. During the fierce battle, Zhu Yunhao was so angry that he revealed his real name and that he came from the spirit world. I admire these people so much. What they were thinking was that the Lord of White Tiger City must have gone too far, so he attracted the seniors from the spirit world to come down and save them from the dire straits. No wonder he could fight the Lord of White Tiger City for so many days. It's no wonder that he can come up with such mysterious elixirs. Seeing the reactions of these people, Zuyun smiled bitterly, still remaining cautious in his heart. The 3 rays of light from the 10,000 Blood Evil Formation had already invaded his body, but they were not very visible from the outside. In other words, these people didn't know that he couldn't use his spiritual power. Unable to feel the Chaos Lotus, now he can only use the power of his soul. But all this time, he has never learned the soul method to protect himself. There are some problems. Get up. Now that the evil has been eliminated, you can continue to practice. Let's all disperse. Zuyun waved his hand. However, a Yuan Yinki raised his head, glanced at the dragon guard not far from Zuyun, then looked away and said, Senior, the demon clan has oppressed our human clan for many years, why not take this opportunity to kill them? Upon hearing this, Master Tianhu and the Jiao Guard suddenly changed their expressions, and subconsciously looked at Zuyun. That's inappropriate, Zuyun shook his head and said, all this is the conspiracy of the White Tiger City Lord. The demon clan and the human clan can live in harmony. Let's not talk about how the demon clan will end up with the human race in the other three mortal realms. At least in the Western mortal realm, the demon clan was used by the Nightmare Demon King. If the demon clan is wiped out, it will not be a good thing for the Xiphon realm. But the nascent soul seemed unwilling to give in and wanted to say something, but was interrupted by Zuyun. Needless to say, he shook his head and said, "You all should know the rules of heaven. If you come from the spirit world, your strength will be suppressed to the nascent soul stage. Without the help of Master Tianhu, I am afraid this trip will not be like this." It went well. In addition, I also want to thank the leader of the Jiao Guard. If he hadn't been there at the right time, Zhu would not have been so smooth. Not all humans are good people, and not all monsters are evil. We are on the path to immortality, so there is no need to hate each other. To put it more selfishly, how can we maintain our Taoist hearts if we have hatred in our hearts? Senior Ming Jian. Jiao Wei roared, and also knelt down on the ground, leaning against Zuyun. Originally, he did not dare to attack Zuyun because Zuyun carried the aura of a true dragon, which made him feel a sense of awe in his bones. But Zuyun's words spoke directly to his heart. It's no wonder that Master Tianhu is willing to help him, risking his own life to bring him into the city lord's mansion, so as to kill the city lord. Do you have anything to say? Zuyun smiled slightly and looked at Jiao Wei. Senior, we and the demon clan are actually not doing well. Even though we are all the city lord's personal guards. But if the city lord doesn't die, we will never get ahead in the end. Hearing Jiao Wei's complaint, those nascent souls didn't take it seriously at first, but when Jiao Wei explained the humiliation suffered by the demon clan, they were shocked beyond measure. It turns out that in addition to the 5 elements of Chaos Sutra, Nightmare Demon also obtained a copy of the 10,000 Blood Evil Art from an ancient forbidden land. The 10,000 Blood Evil Art requires 3 types of essence and blood to gather in the Danshan before it can be practiced. The blood of 10,000 infants is the blood essence of the human nascent soul, and the blood of 10,000 demons is the blood of the Demon King's demon elixir. And the blood of all demons. It is the blood of the demonic monk. By introducing these 3 kinds of blood into the body to form a balanced force, you can practice the 10,000 blood evil art. The first thing the nightmare monster collected was the blood of all demons. But he never mentioned it, so no one knew. Only then did Zuyun realize that among the hundreds of nascent souls who came here, there was not even a demon cultivator. Just because, in this Western mortal realm, no demons can survive. The second one is the blood of 10,000 demons. The nightmare demon knew that the human race was difficult to deal with and that the human race was extremely slow to advance on the right path, so as a demon body, it took control of White Tiger City. It used various strategies and spent countless costs to gather the blood of 10,000 demons, and finally dealt with the human race. He has already gathered more than 900 of the blood of 10,000 infants, and if there are only a few dozen more, he will be able to complete his evil deeds. Maybe then, Zuyundu will not be his opponent. Over the years, although the nightmare demon has become a master of 10,000 demon blood, it still has an extremely iron fist in controlling the demon clan. Even, in order to prevent his practicing evil skills from spreading to the spirit world, he secretly killed all the demon kings who wanted to go to the spirit world. In fact, Jiao Wei had long suspected that the demon clan could go to the spirit world, but since there was no evidence, he could only lie on and pretend to know nothing. He said this for a full hour. On the human side, there was a sense of sympathy for each other. Why is it so tragic in every mortal world? Zuyun sighed in his heart, and couldn't help but think that if he was born in any mortal world other than the East mortal realm, it might not be so easy. I couldn't help but feel lucky again. Everyone, go back. Zuyun waved his hands and said to the crowd of humans. At this time, Shen Nan stood up, walked to Zuyun, then knelt down again and kowtowed 3 times. Chi. I wish you, Senior, a life-saving grace. The grace of creation. The grace to save the human race. After that, he stood up, raised his arms and said loudly, "Everyone, Senior Zhu has said this, and we don't want to disturb Senior Zhu anymore. The demon clan has been forced to do so in recent years, and in the future, it will never bully the human race for no reason. We are waiting for losses. Many of them need to recuperate. There are also many demon clans who have escaped. I believe it will take time to integrate. As long as Senior Zhu is here, the demon clan will never cause trouble to the mortal world again, so we should not disturb Senior Zhu anymore." All the nascent souls agreed one after another, and finally, under the leadership of Elder Qin, all the nascent souls came to Zuyun. Kneel down. Kowtow. A life-saving grace. The grace of creation. The grace to save the human race. Knock 3 times and get up. They wanted to leave, but never thought about it. Behind him, around him, was the entire White Tiger City. All human races, they have not been affected, naturally heard what these people did, and also knew the crime of the White Tiger City Lord. Everything is in front of me. Senior Zhu, whose pseudonym is Chimu, has reconnected his broken path to immortality and his trampled dignity. All people speak in unison. Thousands of people kneel together. Thousands of people kowtow together. Each knock is a sentence. It felt like the ground was collapsing beneath my feet, and the sound echoed through the sky. It was heard from afar, thousands of miles away. Zuyun was also filled with emotions. Who said that monks can only do evil?